Wrong song. What's up, YouTube? It's another day with the one and only Billy J. And this is my review of episode 13 of American Idol season 15, the farewell season. And in this episode, it was the other top 12 and their solo performances. We have a lot to get through, so let's get started. The first one up was my favorite country singer in the competition, Shelby Z, and she sang Work Hard, Play Harder by Gretchen Wilson. Shelby Z is a natural performer. She is so comfortable up on that stage that she belongs on a stage. And I personally thought that the performance and the song were great. My only critique about the performance was that I was in agreement with Keith in that Shelby should have sang the song in a higher key as opposed to the lower key that she did sing it in. Next up was J-Lo's favorite, Manny Torres, and he sang Adventure of a Lifetime by Coldplay. I personally did not like this performance nor song, and Manny reminds me of the opposite Kasim. Remember last year, Kasim was like the big performer. He did Uptown Funk and he sounded so good doing that, dancing around, moving. Well, Manny is quite the opposite. He wants to be like Kasim and moving around and performing, but his voice sounds terrible when he's doing that. I mean, he's got the moves, he's up there and stuff, but his voice is not sounding good when he's doing that. But like I said, I didn't like the performance nor the song, but of course J-Lo loved it. Next up was Cory Wheeler, and he sang Let It Go by James Bay. Thank God it wasn't Let It Go from Frozen. I was unfamiliar with this song, so I had to look it up and listen to it myself. And I'm glad that Cory was the one that performed the song as opposed to some other performers. And I kind of liked that Cory showed off his quirky side, but I didn't think it was necessary for this song to be quirky. But other than his quirky moments in his performance, I actually liked his voice in this song and the way he performed it on the piano. Next up was Amelia Eisenhower, and she sang Wake Me Up by Avicii. Wrong song. And unfortunately, wrong songs are the kryptonite for American Idol contestants. I love her voice. However, when she got to the chorus with the big band and the backup singers, her voice was just swallowed up. But outside of the chorus, I actually liked her voice and her performance. Next up, what was supposed to be one of my favorites was Jen Blossel, and she sang Sorry by Justin Bieber. I have to admit that I was a Jen Blossel fan from the get-go. I loved her uniqueness, I loved her quirkiness, and I loved her voice. And she was the contestant I was most eager to see. However, I was not impressed by this performance. I really wanted to like this performance, but unfortunately I can't. Is it too late to say that I'm sorry? Next up was CJ Johnson, and he sang I'll Be by Edwin McCain. Now, I like CJ. I think he's a good-looking guy. He's a great performer. He's very talented. But I was unimpressed by this performance. And I agree with the judges in that it was like the perfect song, the perfect range. Everything was just too perfect. But unfortunately, when things are too perfect, they become perfectly boring. Before these performances, I would have put CJ in the front of the pack, but this performance was more of the middle of the pack type performance. I just wanted something a bit more from CJ. Next up was Lee Jean, and he sang Runaway by Ed Sheeran. Lee Jean is this year's Daniel Seavey. He's way too young and in way over his head. But he keeps getting through because he's so cute. But one thing's for sure is that Lijon has a little bit more control over his voice. Unfortunately, Daniel, I think, was still going through puberty, and his voice was, cracking and doing all kind of crazy stuff. So Lijon has that going for him. But one thing I want to know is how many more Ed Sheeran songs do we have to hear from Lijon? It seems that every solo performance that he does an Ed Sheeran song. And not even the good ones. Newsflash, Lee, there are other artists that perform with the guitar and are singer-songwriters. I mean, it's one thing to be a fan of Ed Sheeran and want to do his type of songs, but every solo performance you do does not have to be of that guy. But unfortunately, J-Lo is pushing him along undeservingly. I just wish that Lijon was just a bit older and a bit more mature. I mean, he is pretty mature for a 15-year-old, but, he's very, very inexperienced, and it shows a lot. He does have potential. I'm not saying, he should just give up. He does have some potential, but just not at this stage in his life. Next up was Trent Harmon, and he sang "What Are You Listening To" by Chris Stapleton. I love Trent. He's got a unique voice and a unique look, and his voice is just so pure. I know I've probably claimed other contestants as the front runners, but I think Trent is the front runner. Next up was Tristan McIntosh, and she sang "Good Girl" by Carrie Underwood. Once again, the kryptonite of American Idol contestants is the wrong song, and this I felt was the wrong song for Tristan. And I felt during her performance that she was off key, and I actually could see Shelby Z singing this song way better than Tristan. This for me was just an okay performance, and I was not impressed by Tristan. Next up was Adam and Lasher, and he sang "Black and Gold" by Sam Sparro. Performance-wise, I didn't think Adam connected with the TV audience. The physical audience there, I felt he connected with. You could tell on the screen he'd be performing and looking down at the audience, but never did I feel that he looked into this TV screen, the camera, and looked at us and the TV audience. And I agree with the judges. I didn't think it was a very good song choice. Once again, I love the mature tone of his voice, but I didn't feel anything, connection-wise with that performance. Like I said, it could have been the fact that he didn't really look at the TV audience. Next up was Daniel Rapattoni, and he sang "Rebel Yell" by Billy Idol. I love Daniel, and I can't harp enough of how great of an artist he is. He flipped and stripped this great rock song and made it his own, the mark of a true artist. And I totally feel that Daniel is this year's Adam Lambert, who could very well win. I think this year it'll come down to Daniel and Trent as far as the finale. And last up was Olivia Rocks, and she sang "Confident" by Demi Lovato. I actually like this song. I hear it on the radio. I had no idea it was Demi Lovato. I thought it was some other random new female artist. But I like Olivia. I think Olivia rocks. And I love her rock demeanor. I love the tone of her voice, and I love her performance. And I felt it was actually a good song choice for her. Moving forward, I want to hear Olivia sing some Pat Benatar. Well, my bottom two performances of the night are going to have to be Jen Blossel and Manny Torres. The wrong song, Kryptonite, hurt both of these artists, and terrible rearrangement really hurt Jen. And for Manny, he needs to get some breath control or something, or maybe just not move around as much. If he just merely walked across the stage as he was singing, maybe it would be a bit better, but definitely don't be up there dancing and gyrating. But those are my thoughts on the solo performances. Leave a comment down below on your thoughts. Who are your favorites and who are your least favorite performances? And remember, peace, love, unity, respect. Peace out, guys.